The review was really amazing, but maybe we could do another one. All our synth stuff is spread all over the place, but the drum set it's still intact in the other room. Maybe we could introduce that. What do you think? Listen, I'm busy with this. You take my glasses, you do it, okay?
Well, hello. Mr. B here. Do you have a moment to discuss about edrums? Of course you do. I just wanted to make a small video about my custom Roland TD-30 edrum kit. It's kind of like custom because it doesn't have all the stuff that those kits usually have. It's a bit smaller, as you may see here behind me, or not, since I'm in a way. Why, you may ask? Because I like it. It's wonderful. That's why. Why not? But first, a small rant about history and edrums, if I may. Hello, the editor here. He will now go on for quite a while. Sorry about that. We tried to make him stop, but it was impossible. Uh, but it's still kind of relevant. So um, I wanted to have a edrum kit for a long time, kind of like a real one, kind of like with mesh heads and stuff. When they came out in the, I don't know, early 2000 something. I had a kind of like this octapad thing, SPD-11, with some pads that I played a bit, but it wasn't really the same. It didn't feel like drums. Then I had also this old Simmons kit. Let me show you this wonderful, wonderful shaped pads. But unfortunately, it's not in a working order, and the sounds are a bit and it's a bit hard to play. But it looks wonderful. So old school, and also because I live in an apartment. I have always lived in an apartment. Well, not as a child, but uh, whole my adult life. And you really can't have acoustic, as you know, you can't have acoustic kits on apartments. Well, you can, but you won't have that apartment for very long, or you just your neighbors will kill you. Uh, so that's kind of like impossible. And also, unfortunately, I'm a bit of a lazy bastard, and it was kind of like hard for me to haul my ass to the rehearsal space alone to practice drums all by myself. Um, so I kind of like wanted them to be conveniently uh, at hand. I'm not also that hot on practice pads and stuff like that. I like to play the whole set when I do something. And also what's kind of stopping me that was the money. Those kind of like I wanted to have a good set, um, really nice one, and those things cost as much as a new car or 3 or 4 of my cars. So yeah, that was a problem. And also I was a family man back then, and kind of like getting daddy a new drum kit wasn't kind of like the first financial priority, understandably. So yeah, but I kind of like dreamed. And there's also this Finnish thing. Yeah, it's a really good Finnish thing. You think that am I really good enough? Is it kind of overkill to own this kind of huge, huge professional set when you are kind of like what you are and so on. But that kind of like erased itself when I got older and kind of like decided that if you have a bad idea, you must do it immediately. That's kind of like my philosophy. And if you want to get something that makes your life nicer, more satisfactory, provides fun for you, you must do it. Yes. Yeah. I don't think Americans think like us Finns that am I good enough? What are other people thinking about me? It's a Finnish thing. Yeah, that's what we are. But yeah, and also the financial problems solved, kind of like solved themselves. I we got divorced and had to sell our family apartment, and the children were bigger then, and I kind of like had this nest money for my own apartment, and I was kind of like, well, I could kind of like put aside something also for the drum kit. That's how it is. And anyway, I'm now sitting in my own apartment, so that ended happily also. But to tell you the truth, uh, I don't really recommend this as a way to finance your eDrum acquisition. It's really hard. Try bank loans or working three jobs or something. It's much better. I don't recommend that at all. But anyway, that's how it happened. That's how I got the money and started kind of like, I want to buy the set. Yes. And I started looking for a new set. He forgot to mention the timeline. He's now talking about the year 2017. Or, of course, I mean a used one, since the new ones, they still cost a lot. And then kind of like came also another problem. That's kind of like that edrums look stupid. Uh, yeah, you may laugh, but it's kind of like I don't like how they look. I mean, like in the old days, they were kind of like proper. They were in their stands and they looked a bit funny, but and they were and they sounded even funnier. But they were kind of like a proper drum kit. But I don't know. Then kind of like came the rack. Uh, drum rack is evil. It's a kind of like, it's work of the devil. I think it was first kind of like Roland who introduced them with V drums or something. I don't know the history. But anyway, suddenly every E-drum kit was in a rack. And I don't know, E-drum kits in a rack, they look like, I don't know, kind of like you have this farmyard fence, cow fence, and you hang all your drums in it, and it looks so stupid. You're kind of like in a playpen, and it takes a whole lot of space and stuff, and it's horrible. I don't like it at all. So I preferably wanted something that's on stands. Uh, I have very rarely seen kind of like Roland V drums on stands. Usually everybody just uses the rack. Uh, yeah, but I wanted something compact, kind of like a set. I play three-piece uh, or four-piece set myself, and I wanted kind of like something similar, not something huge. I don't need a huge kit, and it's just something that I can play with. I think kind of like Roland has noticed this kind of like this problem, and also there are several other manufacturers that nowadays they do e-drums that look like real drums, are as big and so on. And I think that's also kind of stupid because one idea of getting also e-drum kit is kind of like that it's compact and I don't know. Ron kind of like they have this bass drum pad or E-pad that's as big as a real bass drum. I mean, like, why the hell would I want to carry around a huge bass drum? just because it has this small pad that actually does the sound triggering. I mean, like, that's exactly the thing that I wanted to get rid of by purchasing e-drums. I wanted them to be smaller, more compact. So that's kind of like that's a wrong direction, in my opinion. Um, that said, well, I actually had this had this old Russian bass drum that I kind of like intended to make a kind of like a shell for my bass drum pad. So I'm not innocent here, but I kind of like forgot that stupid idea. Not all bad ideas must be done immediately. I really think that EDRUMs should be, the idea is that they are more compact and they fit in your room or something. They don't have to be really big ass drums. I don't kind of like have this problem that, hey, I don't want anyone to notice that I'm playing e-drums. So want to have set that looks like real drums. What the fuck? Why the hell? I don't understand that. And also, if I rant a little more, I also in the old times, as I said, the eardrums they sounded funny, but they sounded like their own instrument, different instrument. And nowadays, everybody is kind of obsessed that they must sound exactly like acoustic drum kit. And I also think that that's kind of stupid. It's like you have this synthesizer and you only use piano sounds with it. That's not the idea. I think this is kind of like its own instrument in a way, and it also should somehow kind of like reflect it. I don't know. No Drum has some drum stuff that kind of like had this drum synthesizer in it, but usually it's just imitating real drums, and yeah, that's not really, in my opinion, the point. I think this should be kind of like their own instrument and should be kind of thought like that. And I kind of like hope that someone actually starts to think like that, so that they can sound acoustic drums, they can sound. Yeah, I have ideas about this. Perhaps I'll make a video about this someday. Okay, yeah, let's continue. Now it's back to 2017. So I started looking. There were some Roland kits, okay, but they were a bit expensive, used ones, older ones. Uh, And then I also looked at this two-box drum 5 thing. One church was selling their drum kit, and I went over to see it, and I really liked the module. The module was really great, but the pads, it had the rack, and the pads were kind of like horrible. They were really actually held together by rubber bands. Uh, and they were breaking down. The church's set was breaking down, and I want to have something that I can actually trust and perhaps take on gigs and so on, instead of something like breaks down immediately. So that was out of the question. Though the module was really great, yeah, the hardware, and there were some Alesis kits and so on. But then I found this young guy who was selling his kit. He had a Roland TD-30 kit, and he had kind of like expanded it, bought a new hi-hat and snare, a new module, and I think bass drum pad also, and made some pads himself, and he had kind of like this monster mutant hybrid kind of thing. And I went to see it, and I was a bit kind of like, yeah, but then kind of like I tested just this drum a bit, and I don't know, it just kind of like this sound when I kind of like played it. It sounded like a real drum, and and I know what you're thinking. Didn't he test the drums beforehand in a store or something? Of course he did. Many times. But this is more about kind of like that one particular moment when you hear that one thing and you make a life affecting decision. This is about finding something. This is a metaphor about meaning of life itself. Kind of, maybe. Anyway. He had all these rubber belts also that came with it, and I just bargained with him a bit, and he threw in a hi-hat stand also. So I bought the kit. And then I kind of like went home and I got rid of this horrible rack, bought some stands and sold some extra pads and set them up, and then I had an edrum kit. Hooray! Yeah! Fuck yeah! That was lovely. And, well, let's see it. Well, that took so fucking long that I'm actually going to make this a two-part video, so we don't have kind of like an hour-long blah 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 video. Sorry about that. I'm just learning this stuff still, but hey, let's roll out the drums. Okay, here's my lovely kit. White, blue, leopard, giraffe thing. It's big lump of plastic really, but kind of like a brain. That's kind of like, well, the heart, the soul. Other stuff, the drums, edge head, the module. It doesn't bother anyone when I play. Crash. It's kind of like, this may sound, I should, but I haven't. I'm old. I'm sorry, I don't remember really what I did. Punch or something like that. Licorice. Or lakuja.